All right, in this lesson, we're going to build something small on purpose, just one tiny system that actually fits into your real life. Think of this as a small experiment, not some total life makeover. The goal here is just to design one small structure that you can practice with, something that can actually hold up day to day.
So this is where all the theory we've been talking about starts to become a simple, real routine, one that you can actually test out over the next few days.
You know that feeling when you look at a big goal like, get all my homework done on time, and you just feel overwhelmed? It's so easy to feel that way. So instead of that, we're going to focus on really small, practical steps that are much easier to actually begin.
And to do that, we're going to use a concept called a tiny system. It's pretty simple. A tiny system is just a routine with 3 key parts that all work together to make it really easy to repeat.
Okay, before we break down those 3 parts, go ahead and find the While You Watch section in your workbook. You can fill it in as we go through these next few ideas.
All right, let's dive into how this actually works. Every single tiny system is built on the same 3 components, and understanding how they connect, well, that's the key to making a system that really works for you.
Here they are: a trigger, an action, and a reward. You can think of them as a simple loop. Something happens, you do a small thing, and then you get a small positive feeling right after. So let's look at what each one of these really means. First up is the trigger. A trigger is just something that already happens in your day. It's the signal that tells your brain, okay, it's time to start the routine now. This could be something like walking in the door after school, or maybe your alarm going off in the morning. Good triggers are always clear and really easy to notice.
Second, we have the action. Now, this is the specific behavior you want to repeat, and the key word here is tiny. This isn't do all my homework. It's something super small and specific, like I will open my planner and write down today's assignments. See, if the action feels huge, your brain is just going to find ways to avoid it.
And third is the reward. This is what happens immediately after the action. It's the part that makes your brain think, hey, that was worth it. And it gives your brain a good reason to want to run that same system again tomorrow. Now, the reward should be honest and realistic for you, like checking your phone for a few minutes or grabbing a snack you like.
Now, this idea right here gets to the absolute core of this whole thing. We care a lot more about systems that can survive real life than systems that just sound perfect on paper. Your system needs to work on a day when you're tired, or busy, or even on a day when your whole schedule gets messed up.
In your workbook, you'll see a little space to note why keeping systems small is so important. Go ahead and jot this down. Systems should be tiny enough to be repeatable, even on a bad day.
Okay, let's walk through a really concrete example to see how all these pieces fit together. Let's imagine a student who really intends to do their homework right after school, but as soon as they get home, they open their phone, and then suddenly hours have gone by. So here's what that student's tiny system could look like. It starts with a trigger that's already part of their daily routine: putting their backpack down on their desk. This is a clear, unmistakable signal. It happens every day.
Next comes the action, and notice just how small and specific this is. The action isn't to complete all the homework. Nope, it's just to take out the planner and write down the 3 most important tasks. That's it. It's a very, very low-effort step.
And finally, the reward. It's immediate, and it's realistic. It acknowledges that the student wants to check their phone anyway, but it cleverly places that activity after the small, productive action, not before it. This is exactly how a reward helps reinforce a new habit. In your workbook, you'll see a space to write down this exact example system. Go ahead and pause and jot it down so you have a really clear model to work from.
Okay, now it's your turn to actually apply this. In your workbook, find the section that's labeled Your Tiny System Idea. We're going to design your own little experiment.
So first, just pick one area you'd like to improve just a little bit. Then try to describe the challenge in one simple, honest sentence. For example, maybe it's, the challenge is I always start my homework super late, or the challenge is I stay on my phone way too long before bed.
So once you've named the challenge, move to the Apply It to Your Week section. Your workbook gives you these helpful sentence starters for each of the 3 parts to help you build your own system. When I will, and then I can.
You know, designing the system is the first step, but the next step is to make it real and actually test it out. A system only becomes real when it has a time and some specific days attached to it.
I want you to think of this as just a 5-day experiment.
You're not promising to do this forever, okay? So in the Make It Real and Track It sections of your workbook, choose which 5 days you're going to run this system, and then just check off each day that you actually complete it. Then, at the end of the experiment, you'll reflect. Now, the goal here isn't perfection. It's just to gather information. If the system didn't work, well, that's actually really useful data. You can make it smaller, change the time, maybe adjust the reward. Your answer here matters way more than whether the week went perfectly.
So, let's wrap up with the 2 most important points from all this. First, a tiny system always has 3 parts: a trigger, an action, and a reward. And second, the key advice is to start small. A system is only useful if it can survive your real life, especially on those busy or tired days. Now, take some time to finish up the page in your workbook. Build your own tiny system and go ahead and schedule your 5-day experiment. In our next lesson, we're going to zoom out a bit and look at how these systems connect to your daily energy levels.